Good morning, sir. You're welcome,
Good
sir.
morning. You're welcome, ma. Yes, ma'am.
And everyone.
Thank you, ma. All right. So today is a Friday, the 11th of October, 2024. And we're having the morning analysis. My name is Rotimi Olawale, for those who don't know me. Now, today, there are quite a number of fundamental events that will happen in the market in the course of today, though many of them is actually slated for the afternoon. The only one for this morning is this GDP from the United Kingdom, which took place some minutes ago, and the actual came out equal to the forecast. So there's no effect of that event on the market. But the critical event we have this afternoon is this employment change and unemployment rate from Canada. That is Canada's version of NFP. And also it will happen simultaneously with the core PPI and PPI from the United States. All of them will happen by 1:30 p.m. Then later by 3 p.m., we have the prelim UOM consumer sentiment and prelim UOM inflation expectations. So these are the events we have for today. But like I said, we don't have any fundamental in the morning. So the markets can run from a technical view in the morning, pending the time when we anticipate the release of the data from Canada and the United States by 1:30 p.m. So we'll flip over to the technicals now. By the afternoon session, we'll look at the analysis on how to trade the afternoon session, the pre-New York analysis session. All right, so let's move on. So I'll flip over to the technicals. Now, from the technical angle, the dollar, we still have a bearish outlook on the dollar. The dollar is still trading around a previous support, turn resistance. So we might be looking at an opportunity to sell the dollar if, such opportunity presents itself. And this is a weekly time frame. We have a support on resistance. And if we go down to the 4 hour, we can clearly see that we're having a rejection candle, right here. And if we take it down to the 1 hour time frame, that should give us something that looks a lot like a head and shoulder pattern. And all this points to the fact that we might be having a decline in the dollar in the course of today. So we can look at corresponding dollar pairs that might react, to this analysis, meaning that the dollar technically is looking bearish. But then most of these other pairs, we need to trade them with a lot of caution. So if the dollar is bearish, I hold a bullish outlook on the GBP USD. And I mentioned this yesterday when I was doing the analysis for the CPI that we had yesterday. For the GBP USD, we can see price is trading within an ascending channel. And currently, I remember saying yesterday that I expect price to drop to this previous resistance turn support zone. And that's where price is at the moment. So technically, I'll be looking out for an opportunity for price to bounce into the bullish direction on the GBP USD, more so that we have a bearish outlook on the dollar, then we shall have a GBP USD that will go up. Now, what may happen eventually on the long term, all things being equal, is that we may have a pattern that will look like possibly a head and shoulder on GBP USD, which may now lead to an eventual massive breakout. But for now, what we're concerned about is the move up, which may be possible since the dollar is looking bearish and the GBP USD is having a massive confluence of the support on resistance on the daily time frame and also price dropping to that zone where that zone now acts as a confluence between the lower trend line of the channel and the support on resistance. And finally, yesterday candle actually closed as a rejection candle on the daily time frame. These are references that gives us the view that we should expect a bullish outlook on the GBP USD. So if you take it down to the 1 hour time frame, this is what we have. We have a trend line up there and a second one at the lower side, giving us a falling wedge pattern. And the falling wedge pattern is a bullish reversal pattern. So if price breaks out, above this trend line, it will be a time to trigger a buy on the GBP USD. At that instance, we should confirm with our RSI to be clearly above 50 for us to trigger a buy on the GBP USD. So I am bullish on the GBP USD. And that's about the major pair I will analyze this morning. The other ones, we'll look at them because we have other setups that are not. Okay, one of them is dollar-based, which is the USD card. Yeah, before I run too fast. Now, for the USD card, I actually have a bearish outlook for today. Now, we should not forget the fact that there's going to be a card news in the afternoon. That's the employment change and unemployment rates, and that can ultimately still influence what happens to the card. But then most of the technical setup I have this morning, they're actually card. I've set up a USD card, Euro card, GBP card. So it shows that the card is really getting set, for this news event. And all this setup I'm telling you about, they are all bearish, which gives us an indication that the card itself might be getting very strong for us to anticipate a bearish movement on the USD card, the Euro card, and the GBP card. But then let's look at the USD card. Now, earlier in the week on Monday, I gave a bullish weekly forecast for the USD card. I remember showing also, you can refer back to the video. I said price was trending up on the USD card on the weekly time frame. I clearly said that I anticipated a double bottom pattern here, which will lead to a bullish breakout. And everything I said about this instrument has come out just like that. I remember telling us that on the daily, that this is a double bottom. At the beginning of the week, price was somewhere around there. And I said once price breaks out above the neckline, because there's a previous support again, on resistance here, but the instruction is if price is able to break out above the neckline, it will be a time to trigger a buy on the USD card. And that has happened just like I anticipated. And currently on the USD card, price was able to hit about 100 and about 145 pips, in the course of this week, in line with the analysis we had on Monday. At least price was able to clearly hit the Fibonacci 61.8, which is a critical Fibonacci level, and it hit that level at 125 pips. I'll need to update the record for the pip movement we had for the week. So we have a 125 pip movement on the USD card this week. Now, currently, price is now, if you go back to the weekly time frame, you can clearly see that we have a valid resistance level here. Yeah, price broke above it here, but still reversed. It's not like price continued going higher. So that shows that level, this is a very strong resistance level, and that's where price is as we speak. So all things being equal, if we flip down to the 1 hour time frame, we can clearly see that price is having a massive reaction at this point, which may lead to a decline. And more so, we are looking at a pattern here that looks like it's forming a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder. Then we should expect a decline from there. Let me draw it properly. Shoulder, head, second shoulder, and a drop. Now, not only that, we also have our trend line drawn here and the second one at the back, giving us a rising wedge pattern. So I'll be looking out for a bearish breakout on the USD card in the course of today. Now, if the news in the afternoon comes out good for the card, then that will really aid the breakout, the bearish breakout of the USD card. And price is expected to target this previous resistance, support tone resistance level, either today or in the coming days. That's where I believe price will get to. Though we may look at taking our profit before it gets to that level, but I see price targeting this level eventually. But that's even a secondary issue. The issue now is that we're expecting a bearish breakout on the USD card. Now, this breakout may happen before the news in the afternoon, and you may wait for the news, before. But eventually, even if it does not take place before the news by 1:30, then by the news by 1:30, we should expect that trigger, except if the news comes out, not to be good for the card. But from all technicals, I anticipate that there's a possibility the news will be good for the card so that we can trigger a sell on the USD card. And so I'm bearish on the USD card. And like I said, I'm also bearish on the Euro card and the GBP card. So let's quickly flip to those two. those are the setup I'm seeing in the market this morning. It's like the market is quiet for the other pairs. Now for the GBP card, this is my view for the GBP card. Now you can see that price is trading within the channel again, and currently the candle that closed yesterday closed as a rejection candle, and not only that, it's closing it. The price actually hit a previous support level, which is now acting as a resistance here, and that technically should lead to a decline in the price. So again, if the news comes out good for the card, then that should lead us into having a bearish movement on the GBP card. You can see on the 1 hour, just like what we have on the USD card, we're having a pattern that's, having like a head and shoulder and a decline. So the market is really getting set for a decline on the card pairs, where the card is actually the quote, not the base currency. So you're welcome, Franklin. So we're expecting a bearish movement on the GBP card. You can see currently this candle is facing downwards. We're anticipating a breakout from that region. And again, confirmation at that point of breakout, confirm with your RSI clearly below 50, for you to trigger a sell on the GBP card. And finally, we have the Euro card, all of them having the same outlook. All right, so this is the Euro card. Now for the Euro card on the daily time frame, we can see that we have a trend line that is a descending trend line that connects these 3 points here. So technically, we're looking at a decline, all things being equal in the recent of it. And we can flip down to 1 hour. And on the 1 hour time frame, we can draw our trend line, and we can draw a second one at the back to form a rising wedge. So you can see that all this pattern, now when we see related currency pairs giving similar patterns like this, it actually shows the state of that currency. So we have a reversal pattern, confirmed on the USD card, the GBP card, and Euro card. Must you trade all of them? The answer is no. I always emphasize that. Don't take more than 1 or 2. Let's assume the first 1 or 2 that triggers, that's the one you should take. But generally, I hold a bearish outlook on the USD card, the GBP card, and the Euro card. And that's in anticipation of the fact that the news in the afternoon will come out good for the card, so that this can trigger in the bearish direction. And so all these are 1 hour setup. All the setup I've given so far, they are all 1 hour, including the GBP USD that I said is bullish, is 1 hour. Now I have another setup on NAS 100 for those of us that trade the indices. Now this is the NAS 100 on the daily time frame. Price is trading around a resistance level on the daily, and that setup is still very valid even on the 1 hour time frame. So now we have a pattern here. On one angle, it looks as if it's a head and shoulder. On another angle, it's looking as if it's a double top. So for whichever case it is, there are times when these patterns come up that you can't really pinpoint what exactly it is like, but I'll take it either as a double top or head and shoulder. But what is important is that we have a valid neckline here. So once price drops below that neckline, you can trigger a sell on the NAS 100. If you trade NAS 100. Now, if you're not trading NAS 100, I will encourage you not to bother, because it can be volatile. Those who trade it understand the characteristics of the instruments they are trading. So I'm bearish on NAS 100, and you can target this level, this minor support level, as a take profit. So we can target this place here, that's 20052.81 as our take profit level, as we anticipate a bearish breakout in price on the NAS 100. Please don't forget to trigger your entry once price breaks out. Not now, please. Please listen to what I'm saying. I did not say trigger a sell now. Wait for price to break out below the neckline before you trigger a sell, to this region. So that's my view. I'm bearish on NAS 100. And finally, okay, not finally, I think I'm a little bit in a hurry. I have a setup on New Zealand CHF. Now, this is swing. And if it swing, it may not trigger today. But for those who are swing traders, they can take note of that as we end the week and we anticipate entering into a new week. Now, for New Zealand CHF, price has been trending downwards and it's forming a falling wedge pattern on the weekly time frame. And there is a valid support level, which is this blue line. There's a valid support level on the weekly. But the most important pattern here, aside all this, is the fact that we are having a kind of a reversal, like a triple bottom inverse edge, kind of what's just a reversal pattern here that should trigger us in the bullish direction. So with price hitting a previous support level on the weekly and this reversal pattern, we're expecting a bullish movement on the New Zealand CHF on the weekly time frame. Now, if we switch over to the 4-hour time frame, we can see we have a valid falling wedge pattern and also a pattern that's looking like an inverse head and shoulder from where we anticipate that bullish breakout. Currently, RSI is below 50, but at the point where we want to trigger entry, it's advisable to confirm your RSI to be clearly above 50. So I hold a bullish outlook on the New Zealand CHF, but like I said, it's a swing. It may or may not trigger today, but if you're a swing trader, take note of it. And whenever it triggers, that will be an opportunity for you to take a very valid bullish trade on New Zealand CHF. And finally, I'll look at the BTC. Now, aside the setup I gave us last week on the BTC, which was quite massive, I'm seeing another setup forming on the BTC USD. Now, if you look at the BTC USD, let me start it all over again. If you look at the BTC USD from my previous analysis, I said that price was going to decline downwards. That was early last week, I think. And we had this massive breakout downwards. Then there was a retracement, this rejection candle. Now we're seeing a sell. Now, the next thing I'm seeing here is the fact that if we flip down to the 4-hour, okay, before we flip down to the 4-hour, normally we're supposed to expect the wave of, we've been having a series of higher low, higher low, higher low. The next wave should be a higher low downwards, and that's what was initially triggered here. But the market structure seems to be changing. Now, if you use Fibonacci tool on this wave up from where we initially expected a decline, we'll discover that price currently, hit, or rather price yesterday hit Fibonacci 50 and is taking that place as a support. So instead of a further continuation, normally I always emphasize that Fibonacci 50 and 61.8, they are key levels, they are reversal levels. Price may reverse, may either retrace or reverse upon touching those levels. I said price may either retrace or reverse upon touching those two key levels. But now it looks like Fibonacci 50 is acting as a support level for a reversal, because when price hit it yesterday, you can see the beginning of a reversal on the Fibonacci 50. So if we flip down to 4-hour time frame, I can see here the formation of an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which may lead us to, the next upper zone right there, for a bullish movement. So I hold a bullish outlook on the BTC USD. Now we can take it, you can either trade this as a swing or even as an intraday. Now, if you zoom down to the 1-hour time frame, for those who are day traders and who might want to trade this, this is what I have on the 1-hour. We have a falling wedge pattern that is evolving into, or we're seeing an inverse head and shoulder within it. It's possible price may break out, but even if there's a breakout, don't trade yet, because price may retrace to test the trend line before going back up. It will still form that second shoulder. That second shoulder is just beginning to form. So I will encourage you to exercise some patience. Again, that might be, we have a shoulder, a head. It's possible we see a breakout, a retracement for price will test the trend line to form the second shoulder, then the breakout. So if you want to trade this, you can look at trading this when price eventually breaks out above the neckline. Above, not even close. This normally this is the neckline of this setup, but give it some pips. And please, this kind of setup is for it can be volatile. BTC can be volatile. So if you have a small account, I would say kindly stay out of this. If your account is like $100, please stay out of this. It can be volatile. But if you have reasonable trading account, 200, 300, 1,000, fine, you can, while still utilizing the correct lot size. But it's a trade that requires some patience. Let the pattern form properly. Then you'll see that there's going to be a big breakout on BTC, going up to test the upper trend line that we have up there. So I'm bullish on the BTC USD on both 1 hour and 4 hour. If you're trading as a swing, yes, you are used to being patient with trades, so you may not really have much issues. It's just to wait for price to form the second shoulder clearly, then wait for a breakout as price goes up. So either ways, it's a good trade either for intraday or swing setup. So I'm bullish on the BTC USD. All right, so that's all I have to show us this morning. This morning I've analyzed the GBP USD. I said I'm bullish on GBP USD in 1 hour. I'm bearish on the USD card, the Euro card, GBP card, all on 1 hour. And I'm bearish on NAS 100 on 1 hour. And I'm bullish on New Zealand CHF on 4 hour. And I'm bullish on the BTC USD on 1 hour. So please take note of all this. The recording of this video will be made available after the class so that you can watch. We'll surely post it in your WhatsApp group. And you can always go over to our YouTube channel to also watch this video so that you can, prepare ahead of all this setup as they eventually evolve. So okay, I can see there are a lot of questions here. I'll take them one after the other as we try to round up. So Precious is asking about gold. All right, now there's some dollar news in the afternoon. Those dollar news may actually determine the eventual direction of gold. But from what I said earlier, the dollar is looking bearish. But I'm not personally seeing any setup, to trade on gold at the moment. I'm not seeing anyone by my own trading style. I'm not finding any tradable setup on gold at the moment. So personally, I will just stay out for now. Mr. Olabi, New Zealand USD. So with that, I've responded to Precious. Mr. Olabi is asking about New Zealand USD. So let's check New Zealand USD. There's equally no setup around the New Zealand USD at the moment. There's no setup around the New Zealand USD at the moment, so I will also not mention anything about that. Bilu Mohammed. AUDJPY have been on the trade selling for days. Based on your analysis, AUDJPY, let's check that. The thing is that the JPY I think I gave this analysis on Monday, and I said I was bearish, anticipating the double top, and price did break out. So it depends actually on when you entered the trade. It depends on when you enter. Normally for double top patterns, at the break of the neckline, you have to trigger a sell. but then there was a rejection here and price has been moving up, and we still anticipate it may come down later. That's possible because price went back up to test the resistance. That resistance up there is a monthly resistance. Is a monthly resistance. So there's still a high chance that price may drop further. You know, sometimes the JPY pairs can be very unstable and funny to trade, but there are still pairs I will have to trade one time or the other. So currently the market is experiencing a range. So once price breaks out of that range, you will see a fall on the GBP, AUD JPY. The other possibility price may still go back to retest this resistance. That's a monthly resistance. It's a very strong one. Personally, except if the fundamentals take over, price may not go back up to break that resistance. This is the reason I'm telling you about on the monthly time frame. And it's been holding since 2007. That's in the last 16 years, this resistance has been holding. So it will take a lot for price to break it, except there's a very, very powerful fundamentals, from Japan, except that. But technically, I still believe this may drop. So you can still hold on. It only depends now on what amount of exposure you have, in relation to your equity. That's your trading capital. But technically, I still anticipate that price is expected to break out downwards on the AUD JPY. Euro New Zealand. That's Adebola. Okay. Now for Euro New Zealand, this is my current view. Currently, I'm viewing this. There are many sides to this instrument. I must be honest with you. There are many sides to it, but what I can see at the moment is this. I'm seeing a pattern that looks like, a symmetrical triangle. And, in a symmetrical triangle, we have the wave up, second wave down, the wave up. So the next wave should be the wave down, technically speaking, and all things being equal. That's on the daily time frame. If you flip over to the 4-hour, I'm seeing the formation of a head and shoulder, which may aid the wave downwards. So that's what I'm seeing at the moment. Though there are other sides to it, but let's just leave that out for now so that we don't get it complicated. We don't need to make it complicated. That's a simple thing, you may be able to understand for now. And to back up that bearish decline, we also have a resistance zone up here. We have a resistance zone, which, will help the head and shoulder pattern to decline. So I hold a bearish outlook on the Euro New Zealand, but this is a swing setup, so it will require some patience. So you can still take it down to 1 hour, but either on 4 hour, 1 hour, it still requires you to exercise patience. This is a 1 hour version. Price may still retrace up to that zone before finally dropping. But then overall, I still have a bearish outlook on the Euro New Zealand. Mr. Franklin, we don't have this gold CHF on our platform. It's not a common instrument. Okay, Emmanuel Oko, Mr. Emmanuel, we are bearish on the NAS 100. We are seeing a pattern that looks like a double top or a head and shoulder. But basically what we're waiting for is a breakout below the neckline. It's not specifically a double top and it's not specifically a head and shoulder. This is a pattern, but what we're waiting for is a breakout below the neckline. So that's when you look at taking a sell. Once price breaks out below the neckline, and you can target the next support level at excuse me, at 20052. So we're bearish on NAS 100. Thank you, Abasid. Madam Monaji, GBP, CHF, Victory, GBP, JPY. All right, so let's look at those two. Now, there's one factor about the CHF pairs. They range a lot of time. So you have to be careful trading them. They do range a lot. All right, so that aside, technically, what I'm seeing on the GBP CHF is a symmetrical triangle, and prices at the lower end here. You know, the rule around symmetrical triangle is that price can break out. If price breaks out upwards, it's a buy. If it breaks out downwards, it's a sell. So currently, prices at this lower end here. Two things can either happen. Price may still go within the pattern and either break out downwards or break out upwards, or which case you can trade in whichever direction. But if price breaks out below this current, is actually ranging around this lower trend line. If you have a full candle breakout below this level, then you can trigger a sell on the GBP CHF. And if it reverses to the other side, that means you're taking a buy. But currently, looking at what we have, price is on the lower side. We only anticipate a breakout. Let me put a rectangle there. We are only anticipating a breakout below that zone to trigger a sell on GBP CHF. So once price breaks out below this rectangle box, then you can trigger a sell on the GBP CHF. You're welcome, Mr. Franklin. Then GBP JPY. Now, most of the JPY pairs, like I said, they're ranging at the moment. Once the fundamentals is not too clear around the JPY pairs, they can range. Though sometimes, was it last week, Friday or so, many of them dropped hundreds of pips within an hour or two. But then it has experienced more of a range this week. Yesterday, price actually hit a resistance level, on the daily time frame, and we're having this reversal candlestick pattern. If volatility returns to the JPY pairs today, we may see a decline, and that's still in line with what I said about the AUD JPY. So if you flip down to the 4-hour, you can clearly see that we are seeing a range. It's looking bearish, but then there's a range. So it's the volatility that will help us have a continuation. So this is my view on the GBP/JPY. If you look at all the setup here, we actually have a resistance up here. Then we have a pattern that looks like a triangle pattern. So we're having a pattern that looks like, a triangle pattern here. We're having a triangle pattern, and the next should be a breakout downwards. And price has clearly broken out below the trend line. But then what we now need is for price to get enough volatility to drop. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to mark this zone as a range. So whenever price breaks out below that range, that is when you trigger a sell on GBP JPY. So we're bearish on the GBP JPY. You're welcome, Madam Munaji. All right, I've attended to all the questions and all the requests in the comment section. So if you're joining us for the first time, this is PU Prime. We have our global lead office in Australia, and we have 2 offices in Nigeria, Abuja and Lagos. The address of our Abuja office is at PU Prime Africa Walk and Connect Building, 50 in B2 Ukiwe Street, Jabi, Abuja. And the address of our Lagos office is PU Prime Africa at Agos Business Lounge, 54B Adeniyi Jones Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos. You can walk to any of these offices to make inquiries and know more about us as a brand. We're a global brand with a local presence. And we run training services, at our offices. So we have training sessions On Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we teach you how to trade the Forex market. So if you happen to live around Abuja and its environ or Lagos, they can visit any of these two offices on Tuesdays and Thursdays for training on how to trade the Forex market. On Tuesday, we have the beginners class, which gives you the foundational knowledge of how to trade the Forex market. And on Thursdays, we have the intermediate and advanced classes. Okay, Ernest, please, I will suggest you reach out to the person. I wasn't the one that handled that session, so I'm just saying this. So I may not be in the best position to give a response, on that. So maybe you reach out to the person that spoke with you about this offer. So that's all I can say for now. All right. So thanks for joining this analysis this morning. Don't forget to join us in the afternoon by 12:30 p.m. as we have the afternoon analysis session. So have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. May you enjoy the entire week.
Amen. Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir.